On the news tonight, ahead of the 2019 elections, INEC denies creating 30,000 illegal polling units. In business, federal government industrial investment to hit 92 billion naira. And on the foreign scene, the police in Armenia detains opposition leader Nico Pashinyan. A very good evening to you and welcome to Superscreen News at 8, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Olamide Onwakame. Thanks for joining us. And now the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has denied creating 30,000 additional polling units in order to compromise the 2019 general elections. National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Kola Ologbondiyan, alleged that INEC is planning to create 30,000 illegal polling units in some remote areas. And a statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to INEC, Rotimi Onyekomi, in Abuja, he urged Nigerians to disregard the allegations. Onyekomi said the Commission received 3,789 requests nationwide for the creation of new polling units. He said in response to the requests, the Commission directed its resident electoral commissioners to thoroughly assess and provide it with information on new settlements not served or inadequately served by the polling units. And following plans by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to arraign former governor of Katsina State, Ibrahim Shettima, he has responded, saying he is ready to defend himself in a fair trial. You will recall that the EFCC had, in a statement by its media officer in Kano Zonal Office, Idris Nadabo, noted that it will arraign the former governor before the Katsina Division of the Federal High Court on April 24th. The commission stated that Shettima will be arraigned before Justice Babagana Ahmed on 26 counts of money laundering involving the sum of 5 billion naira, which the former governor allegedly withdrew from the state subsidy reinvestment and empowerment program account in February 2014. Responding to the development, the former governor, through his media assistant Oluwabusola Olawale, said he is ready to defend himself in a case of a fair hearing, urging the international community to monitor the planned arraignment. At least 4 persons have been killed and 8 others wounded in a suicide bomb attack at a mosque in Bama local government area of Borno State. Chairman of the council, Baba Shehu Gulumba, who disclosed this, said the teenage suicide bombers, a male and a female, infiltrated a mosque at Bamadina quarters and detonated the improvised explosive device strapped to their bodies. Gulumba explained that the incident occurred when Muslim faithfuls gathered for early morning prayers. He also said 3 persons died on the spot, while 1 person died later at the specialist hospital, Maiduguri, adding that the wounded persons were also referred to the hospitals for further treatment. Police in Lokoja has confirmed the death of 10 persons killed by gunmen in Panchi community and Basa local government area of Kogi State. State Commissioner of Police Ali Janga, who disclosed this to journalists, said the dead included 5 residents of the community, while 5 of the armed gunmen were killed during a crossfire with security agents. Janga said the bandits invaded the sleepy Agrian community in the early hours of today, but they were quickly repelled by a combined team of policemen and soldiers. The commissioner also said 5 houses and unspecified numbers of vehicles, tricycles, motorcycles, and other properties were set ablaze by the gunmen. Residents of Dominic community in Adamawa State are calling on the government to ensure that the attacks by herdsmen are brought to an end so they can return to their normal life or face the danger of starvation. Dominic community has been under attack by suspected herdsmen in some local government area of the state. The peace of the residents was cut short following an attack that broke out between Fulani herdsmen and farmers on February 4, 2018. Following a series of attacks, traditional rulers, elders, religious leaders, and civil servants gathered to find a peaceful means of resolving the conflict. You will recall that since 2003, there have been clashes between herdsmen and farmers in Dumne. The chairman of Ovia Northeast Local Government Area of Edo State, Scott Ogbemudia, has stressed the need for continuous sensitization of the public, especially nursing mothers, on the importance of immunization and malaria control. Ogbemudia disclosed this during the flag-off of the 2018 National Immunization Plus Day in Oluku Primary Healthcare Center in Ovia Northeast Local Government Area of Edo State.
The opportunity to stamp out childhood killer diseases, malnutrition, upper respiratory system diseases, malaria, pneumonia, etc. I want to therefore use this opportunity to affirm my commitment to driving the primary healthcare policies that will reduce infant mortality in our local government.
He also called on the parents and guardians to make available their word for immunization and prevention of future diseases. The federal government says $2.7 billion will be needed for the procurement of vaccines to achieve an 84% immunization coverage by 2028. Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Faisal Shuaib, who disclosed this at a breakfast meeting with donors and partners on immunization financing held in Abuja, said the country's immunization coverage is currently 33%, but has set a target of 84% coverage by 2028.
We've laid out a roadmap that will involve the pooling of domestic resources to buy vaccines because in the next 2 years, Nigeria is graduating from Gavi support, although there are conversations around the possibility of flexibility in that graduation. If the Gavi board approves, then it is possible that this period of graduation will be extended by 7 years. The plan is that it provides us with more time to plan for graduation from Gavi. There are conversations within government around how we can gradually, working with the states, begin to set aside domestic resources in our budgets, the basic healthcare provision funds from the service-wide votes, to ensure that we have enough money to pay for life-saving vaccines that our children need. So we're trying to move away from a situation where we go cap in hand to donors to pay for vaccines that our children need. In the next 10 years, we're hopeful that this plan that we've laid out in our strategic document will clearly articulate how these resources will be pulled together, how we will gradually ensure equitable coverage across the country with life-saving vaccines and other services that will ensure that our kids will grow up and become very productive individuals.
Minister of State for Health, Osagie Ehanire, said Nigeria is on the path of ending her dependence on donor funds as source of financing the National Routine Immunization Program, as the government is sourcing other means of funding the project.
Map we've been talking about today, and it has been very well described by all the various speakers, the various steps and the various levels of engagement in the country and with the states. They have been very well articulated, and the discussions that will go along with it are going to come up in the second phase. The country intends to go from 33% to 84% of coverage for immunization over that period of time. And this coverage is going to save us a lot of money. You spend some money, but you save a lot of money in treatment and in productivity that will have been lost.
The federal government also highlighted their commitment to fight preventable disease, especially in children in the infant stage. You're watching Superscreen News at 8. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll take some business stories. Stay with us. Welcome back to Superscreen News 8, and now on the business scene. The federal government's commitment to the creation of the industrial park under the special economic zones will rise to 92.39 billion naira by the month of December. The idea of industrial park was mooted in 2015 by the federal government to drive manufacturing and exportation of Nigerian products, and is expected to help overcome the infrastructure problem faced by local manufacturers. You will recall that 56 billion naira was spent on the project in 2017 fiscal year, while an additional amount of 46.39 billion has been set aside this year for the budget. Speaking on the importance of the industrial park, the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udo Udoma, said the economic zones are part of government's initiative to attract more investment into critical sectors of the Nigerian economy. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, says about 200 billion naira will be required for the provision of meters to over 4 million power consumers across Nigeria that needs prepaid meters. NERC said the huge amount needed to meter electricity consumers is one major reason why it took away the sole responsibility of meter provision from power distribution companies. Some senior officials of the NERC told journalists that the Commission had also consulted the World Bank and the Central Bank of Nigeria with respect to accessing funds for the provision of meters through the recently established meter asset providers. Still on the business scene, Echo Distribution Company (EKDC) says no fewer than 15 residents of Aja on the Lekki-Ekpe Expressway are to be prosecuted for their alleged involvement in energy theft. EKDC alleged that the consumers stole energy by passing its meters. Managing Director Adeoye Fadeyibi, who disclosed this at a media briefing, said no effort will be spared in dealing with the energy theft. Fadeyibi also said the VGC estate used to be built together as a single customer using one meter. According to him, following agitations by residents for individual metering and billing systems, the company installed meters for houses a few months ago. Still ahead tonight, Armenian opposition leader Nikol Pashinyan detained by the police. These and many more stories in sports and on the foreign team coming your way after the break. Stay with us.
Before they come, they're supposed to, give us some information, notice, at least maybe a week or so. There was nothing like that.